Hey guys, it's Spyro4 here, and today we're checking out the brand new ATK F1 V2. This is the ultimate version in a collaboration with EWEADN. The first version of the ATK F1 had a huge success last year, so they came up with the brand new second version that has a better unboxing, as you can see. You can watch this short after the video if you want to see the sealed, genuine unboxing. But yeah, so this is what you get: the user manuals, a nice braided Type-C cable, but it doesn't have an elevated tip here. Two pairs of PTFE skates. They don't come applied outside of the box, as you can see here in this video, and unfortunately they don't have a speed version, so they both have the same shape, the same material. They're both white PTFE skates and kind of worse quality than the ones that come with the latest duckbill. Just worth keeping in mind. I'm also going to be talking about the differences between the Ultra Max, the Ultimate, and the Extreme expensive version, because this starts at $70 and ends at $134, which is the EWEADN collaboration, the one that I have right now. So which one is worth buying? Stick with the video until the end to hear my full honest thoughts and opinions about this latest release by ATK. So as usual, let's first talk about the shape. This shape to me is a little bit small for my 18.5 centimeter hands, and mostly because of the hump. I'm used to the lowered back hump at the duckbill here, for example, the Scyrox V8. F1 V2 has, a middle towards the back, maybe kind of hump that is not pushed back for my personal preference. That doesn't mean this shape is bad for me. No, I still enjoy the shape. I love it. And I think it's going to shine with those who have smaller hands. I wouldn't say too small, but like, let's say 17 centimeters hands is just going to be a perfect mouse for you, especially if you claw grip. I'm not going to talk about the shape too much because this mouse shape has been here for years, but it's more like a claw shape to me, in my opinion. If you have small hands, you can palm this. Obviously, I even can palm this if I wanted to. For large hands, I don't recommend palm, maybe claw or fingertip. And this works great for fingertip because the sides here, side grooves don't get tight anywhere, as you can see. They just have like a symmetrical, great shape. And at the bottom here, they don't flare out too much as well. So you can actually fingertip this mouse if you have any hand size, pretty much, man. The weight balance is a 10 out of 10 as well. I don't have issues with the weight balance. The QC, I'm not trying to speed up this review, but honestly, one of those flagship ATK releases. It's a 10 out of 10 QC. I don't hear any creaking, and I've already disassembled the mouse the second I got it, since it doesn't come with the skates applied, so it's just a solid rock. Let's check out the weight real quick. It comes at about 40 grams. 40.2. With skates applied. Without skates, 38.8, which isn't bad by any means, because the first version had 36 grams, right? But it had some creaking issues and QC issues that a lot of people have been complaining about on Reddit. This one's QC is a 10 out of 10, and I'm glad they added a little bit of weight for the QC. I'm not a huge weight enthusiast, to be honest with you. I like 40 grams. I even like 45, 46 grams as max. In between, 38, 46 is great for me. And keeping in mind the battery here is only 200 milliamps. It is what it is. This is more like a preference to you. That's why there are 3 versions. You can buy the Ultimate, the Ultra Max. I'm going to talk about that specifically later, which one is more worth it. But man, the unboxing design here is amazing. The EWEADN logo is kind of aggressive with this dragon, and the blue color is fine for me. Not really my favorite color, but a lot of people will enjoy this color. As you can see here, I have an ATK logo at the side, the EWEADN logo in the middle, and that's pretty much it for the branding. Yeah, another one here, a sticker, and the lower positioning sensor, which is interesting. A lot of people might not enjoy how low this sensor is. For me, I don't mind it. I don't have issues with the sensor positioning being too high or too low, honestly. I don't care about that too much. A lot of people complained about the V1 and they still did not change it in the V2. I don't know why exactly. They wanted to keep the same signature of the mouse. They mostly changed the hardware components inside the mouse that I'm going to talk about, of course, later on. We have a simple on and off button that has, colors here, indications. Interesting. No DPI button, no support for Bluetooth on the Extreme version, but there is support only for the Ultra Max. The coating on the mouse is great, not a 10 out of 10, but it's nice. It's a dry feeling coating that's not slippery at all, but it does leave a little bit of fingerprints. I don't know if you can see them. Let's talk lastly about the skates before we move on to the clicks. The skates here are pure PTFEs, as they promote, but these ones are not my favorite at all. These feel like the endgame gear skates or scyrox skates. They're just not thick enough and they're not smooth enough and, you know, consistent compared, let's say, to the same priced or even cheaper ATK duckbill. I'm assuming 2 different manufacturers worked on these different mice. Not saying that these are bad, but I like to be very specific for the people who want to buy this mouse. Did I forget anything else? Not really. Well, yeah, the front buttons are a little bit lowered here. Look how low they are. And I like that, really. I like low front buttons. Yeah, and talking about those main clicks, they're using the Omron opticals, which are my favorite switches, but unfortunately the Omron opticals only available on the Extreme and not the Ultimate and not the Ultra Max, so you have to spend $134 if you want to get the Omron opticals, man. The main click shells have no side-to-side wobble, even if I press so hard. Not at all. Perfect implementation. A little bit of post-travel and no pre-travel. No pre-travel at all. This is really sharp click experience. I don't know if it's the same on the Ultimate and Ultra Max with the mechanical and FEs, but with Omron opticals, it's just amazing. I can't get enough of these switches. Yeah, can't glaze them much. If I speak too much, it's just going to be me repeating the same blah blah blah, because these are 10 out of 10. Moving on to these side clicks, however, they require a little bit of actuation. I don't know why. They're just, I wouldn't say they're heavy by any chance. They're just a little bit, you know, I wish if they were lighter, you know. They're great. They worked fine. I built on Fortnite using these, but the tactility and the rebound and the spammability is amazing on them. There's no creaking. They don't sinking too much. Well, they do a little bit sinking into the shell, but not too much, man. These clicks are amazing. I wish if the positioning, however, was a little bit lowered back to the right by a few millimeters. It's like 3 millimeters, not much, not something crazy, just a little bit, but that's personal preference. You can disagree with me in the comments if you want to. Moving on to the scroll wheel, it has a nice rubber here. These rubbers really help because I edit using the middle mouse button. I'm talking about the Fortnite building, by the way, but yeah, it's notchy. It's a little bit loose on the loose side. Honestly, it's not very defined, but I like that. Great implementation. But what I love about this scroll wheel is the click actuation pressure. Really struggle in nowadays market to find a really light click on the scroll wheel. But yeah, this is a 10 out of 10 scroll wheel for me. It's one of the, I would compare it to the Viper V3 Pro. That was my reference scroll wheel, and this is the second one. And now let's quickly move on to the sound test and hear what it sounds like. So yeah, I also give you a coding sound test. So I think I covered up everything about the physical aspect of the F1 V2. And if there's anything I want to change about it, is probably the overall size. I wish if the mouse was a little bit bigger. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's move on to the performance, specs, and gameplay. So this has the latest 3950 sensor. It's obviously a tweaked version firmware by ATK that performs amazingly, just like the duckbill, just like the Razer Logitech implementation. This is probably one of the best, and I really enjoy it. It's a 10 out of 10 sensor implementation. Have no issues with it at all. I'm gonna leave some clips here for y'all. And honestly, pairing it with the latest Nordic 54H20, it just really unleashes that 8K polling rate capability and the 20K scan rate. I tried that on Valorant real quick. I tested the polling rate. It's amazing. I had no stutters with it at all. And I forgot to show you the software. They kind of improved it actually. Make sure to update the firmware to the latest firmware on the mouse if you buy this one or any ATK mouse. They have some cool settings like the rotational sensor angle or adjusting the dongle lights, stuff like that. Very interesting software. It's definitely way better, and my favorite option here is the adjustable LOD by 0.1 increments. The only issue, however, is the battery. 200 milliamps on this flagship isn't enough for me, and it just drains so quick at 8K and 20K scan rate. And honestly, just always play with 1K point rate. It's not the first mouse I use 1K on. Just use 1K. Is gonna last you a week, about you know, a couple of days on 1K, and just 1 day on 8K. You have to charge it every night. But if you want a crazy heavy battery, you can get the Ultra Max with 800 milliamps. How crazy is that? But then it's also a rock in your hand at 54 grams in a small shape. Not a big fan of that. And yeah, talking about the Ultra Max battery comparisons, let's actually compare them and see which one is actually worth it. We have the Ultra Max coming at $70, the Ultimate $90, and the F2 Extreme, which is the one I have that comes with a collaboration with EWEADN, $134. So you have 70, 90, 134. $74. Which one are you going for? Well, the $70 one is great. It has the latest 3950 Ultra, the Nordic 54L15, which is not the same as the H20, but the millisecond differences in the latency is very, very tiny. If anything, it's going to be battery consumption or scan rates. The same Nordic MCUs, I don't think they have any huge differences in terms of the noticeable gameplay. The only big difference in the Ultra Max, the cheaper version I'm talking about, is the battery size. It's 800 milliamps. They're kind of forcing you to pick up a heavy mouse at 55 grams just so you can go like, let me change my mind and get the Ultimate or the Extreme. And that's how you keep, spending more money. So I don't recommend the Ultra Max. Why? Not because of the battery, because it's moddable. It's because of the switches. I mean, they're also moddable, but meh, you're not gonna mod the switches. So the Ultra Max comes with the ATK Light Blade mechanical switches. While they're not bad, I haven't tried them honestly, but I read some Reddit reviews that they're great. They feel just like the blue shell pink dots. But man, I'm not gonna use mechanical switches at $70. There are other brands like Scyrox who give you the Omron opticals for $70. The great Nordic MCU, the same stuff, man. Like, don't think it's quite justifiable, but man, this is like a collaboration with EWEADN, right? Maybe that's why they are asking for more money. They also have a pink colorway on this one. So the Extreme only comes in pink and the baby blue. That's it. The Ultimate comes with black, white, obviously, coral pink, which is the same as the Extreme, but then they don't have this EWEADN collaboration. Instead, they have the pearl blue. I wanted to try. Honestly, I regret getting this one. I should have got the pearl blue. That's a great color. The Ultra Max only has black and white, more battery size, making the mouse heavy, and mechanical switches. So nobody's gonna buy the Ultra Max for $70. That's why I recommend the V2 Ultimate, because the Ultimate has obviously the same sensor across the board, the same Nordic MCU as the Ultra Max, not the one on the Extreme, unfortunately, the 54L15, which isn't bad by any means. Don't look at the MCU latency. Latency on ATK is 10 out of 10. It's all the same, man. Let's talk about the battery size. On the Ultimate, it's 300 milliamps. On this one, Extreme, is 200. So on the Ultimate, it's better battery life, right? And relatively the same weight. So it is 1 or 2 grams heavier. It's the only critical difference between the Extreme and Ultimate. And keep in mind, the price difference is probably over $40 between the Ultimate and the Extreme. But that's sacrificing Omron opticals. The Ultimate doesn't have Omron opticals. It has ATK custom optical, which are the FEs. FE opticals are the same ones on the ATK duckbill, same ones on the Pulsar Tenz mouse. While they're great, while they're opticals, and they're fine, man. They're 10 out of 10 opticals, right? But something about the Omrons is better than the FEs. I'm not trying to be weird, but Omrons are just better in my opinion. Again, not saying the FEs are bad. I would definitely, if I bought this mouse, I would get the F1 V2 Ultimate with the pearl blue. The encoder, everything is the same. Oh yeah, one more difference is that the cheaper Ultra Max has a Bluetooth support. That's why maybe they raised the milliamps on it. But these two, the Ultimate and the Extreme, don't have the Bluetooth support. For the price, it's a little bit overpriced for the Extreme version. V2 Ultimate, it is definitely worth it. You should pick that one up from the affiliated first link in the description below. And if you're still watching to this part, I hope you learned something from this video, and make sure to subscribe and like it. I mean, if you haven't subscribed, you're probably just trolling, but yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one.